Hey everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time watching me, welcome. This video is part one of my June empties. If you were following along with my empties from last time, May, I said I was going to be doing two vendors in the month of June, and I split that between Dessa's Homespun Scents and Lavender and Speckles. But this video is all of my Lavender and Speckles scents that I got through for June. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Just a little preview. I did get through most of the raspberry jam sampler, the one that Charity worked with Beth on a couple of months ago, and it actually is going to be available in the pre-order a week from today. So if you're interested in any of those, if you didn't grab it the first time around, there's a lot in here because I wanted to also just get a feel for Beth's raspberry because I knew that I was on the customs list coming up, which my customs are going to be mailed out next week. And I was just really wanting to see a lot of her different types of oils. So here we go. No particular order. Let's start off with one that's very, very popular in her business. This is Strawberry Musk. Now, I have several bags of this in my collection, so I figured why not finish this little bag up here. This is described as my fave, strawberry pound cake blended with a tiny bit of iced vanilla woods, which is Bath & Body Works. This, I think, for the most part, if you are a strawberry fan, you probably have tried this at this time because this one has just gained so much popularity and blends so beautifully. To me, this is a little bit of a creamy strawberry in that icy vanilla woods, which has a little bit of masculinity to it, has a little bit of lavender in it, but ultimately this is a really good blend. It blends really, really well too. Before I go any further, let me just say that Lavender and Speckles is owned by Beth Wilson from Rogersville, Alabama. So next one I want to do, I think I'll do all the raspberry ones together just to keep them all in a set like they were. I have some Gilmore Girls lines, which doesn't really exist anymore because Beth has went in and renamed all of the Gilmore Girl themed ones and all the other themes that she had, if she even had any. This next one here is fresh berries and baked bread. So this one is sweet strawberries, blueberry muffins, marshmallows, and fresh baked bread. This is an absolutely fantastic bakery delight. If you like berries and bread and marshmallows and just a little bit of sweet with a little bit of warm bread, you would like this a lot. I actually am going to buy this one again. I don't know if this is on the pre-order list on from next Saturday, but if it isn't, I will watch out for it again, maybe even put it on my customs list. What you get with this is that bread. You can smell that bread in every sniff, whether it's the first 10 minutes or the last 2 hours or whatever. It's just very dominant to me. And you get a beautiful mixture of strawberry and blueberry, which I'm a fan of that. This next one is Antique Shop. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this one is actually on the pre-order list. And that's great because I might get another shake bag of this or even a souffle because this was great. I love this. The notes in this are old books, warm vanilla sugar, pink sugar, and a hint of fireside marshmallow. What I smelled in here was a beautiful combination of books and that little bit of warmth of the warm vanilla sugar and a little bit of creamy marshmallow. I like this one, and I didn't really get some of the, I don't know if she was trying to go for the other deeper library scents that I've had that are out there. I can't remember the name of the one famous dupe. I don't think that's what this was supposed to be, but I did get that books quality that I mean, I love books as an oil. It's such a good one. A little bit of, wouldn't really say I get pink sugar. It's just books, warm vanilla sugar with a little bit of creamy marshmallow. This is Antique Shop. Next, snow is coming. I think this one used to be called I Smell Snow, which is something that Lorelai says in Gilmore Girls when her and Rory are walking in Stars Hollow one day. She smells snow coming. This one is sweet mint, creamy vanilla, maple syrup, bourbon, and a hint of roasted pine cone. This is a really, really, really pretty creamy mint scent. Sweet mint, yes, it deserves to be the first note in here because it is the most dominant. I get a little bit of woodsiness from the bourbon, but also that pine cone is there. So this just smells like a nice fresh winter blend. Or for me, I would buy this again, and I would have this warming in my home as a segue between those really last cold days of fall. It might have even snowed already where you live, right before winter really takes over and everything is just, bare outside and sleeping for the season. That snow is coming. I really, really like that one. It's not overpowering mint. This next one is one of my favorite scents from Beth, and it's one of you guys's. It's kind of late here at night, so pardon me if I'm a little tongue twisty. This is one of her most popular scents. This is Beach Marshmallow Cookies, formerly known as Beach Night Cookies. So Beach Night, Beth has her own little spin on Beach Nights. Beach Nights is marshmallows, vanilla, sea salt, driftwood, and a hint of s'mores. And she also blended it with Sugar Cookie Royale and Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds. So what I love about this one is, if you haven't, I talked about this in my haul video that I filmed a couple of days ago, if you happen to catch that one. But beach marshmallows, Beth has a very distinct Beach Nights beach marshmallows than anyone else out there in the wax industry that I have melted and I've participated in, and not participated in, but supported with purchasing. So I like that hers isn't too salty. It's not too salty sea air or outright salty or too chocolatey or too sharp. It's a nice creamy, it's a very comforting scent, I would say. And the Sugar Cookie Royale and a little bit of Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds, you can smell the Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds in here too. And I really think that if she didn't put that additional note in, I think it would be missing something. So I love this blend. I always will have this. I always buy a bag or so whenever it's available. Absolutely love that. That's Beach Marshmallow Cookies. This next one here is Charming Small Town. I think this one was previously known as Stars Hollow, I think. This one, I loved this one. This is vanilla, sugarcane, cypress, rosemary, sweet mint, and dark teakwood blended with Palo Santo. This one is complicated, but it's a beautiful, gorgeous scent. I would say it's slightly masculine, but not cologne, not even soapy, not barbershop, nothing like that. It's a gorgeous scent. I get the teakwood, I get a little bit of the rosemary, I get a little bit of the Palo Santo and that vanilla. I like this scent a lot. It's kind of tough to describe this one, but when it's warming, this one lingers too. This one lasted the utmost of probably 12 hours or so. I put this in an early morning. I had this going exclusively downstairs in my open concept area, and at the end of my work day, it was still going, so I didn't change it until after I finished dishes up for the evening. So it was going all day. And I love these really strong powerhouses by Beth because I just want to keep warming it and warming it and warming it, and I want to hoard the little bit that I have left because I only had this little 6-pack. These are her small bags. This is of her harder formula, not the olive oil formula, I should say. This next one is Lavender Girl. I love lavender, absolutely. This is sweet lavender buttercream, mixes with ocean air and apples. If you've never had lavender and apple, do yourself a favor and just try it. If you have both of those blends at home, mix them together and just see how they complement each other. It's really something magical if you really want my opinion. I really like that she adds a little bit of ocean air in there. I don't know if this is salty sea air or if this is another type of aquatic or oceanic oil that she uses, but nevertheless, lavender and ocean salt and apple ocean salt and the three together, this is a beautiful blend. Very nice and clean, good for cleaning day, good for springtime, good for any time, really. Lavender Girl. Next, this one, I really liked this one. I bought this one Some of these I don't have the dates on the bags. If I'm going to use them relatively quickly and I just put them in my melting tote, I tend not to put the dates on the bags. But I know that these have been purchased this year or last year latest at the latest. So this one is smoked lavender and lilac. So smoked lavender and lilac. This is fresh lavender and sweet lilacs blended with smoky cedar and oud. So this one, I really love the addition of the cedar and the oud because it cuts down the really super duper floral note that lilacs bring. I've smelled plain lilacs. I mean, in fact, Bath and Body Works has a blend fresh cut lilacs that's out in the spring, and I can handle a good floral. Like rose is my outright favorite, and I like peony and then some violet and things like that. But lilac seems to be a little bit too strong for me. However, Beth choosing to cut it with the wood to add a little bit of a creamy aspect to it and a little bit of nut maturity. I love this scent. And when I had this going, I mean, it even has a little bit of lavender in it, which I didn't really pick up on. I got just mostly the woodsy and the lilac. But when this was going, this is another one that lasted all day too. And I really enjoyed this little 6-pack I had of this because it's something that I haven't really smelled from any other vendor before. And I really like how creative whoever came up with this blend was, but just how creative putting this lavender and lilac and this wood together. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous blend. Next is All the Berry French Toast. All the Berry French Toast. So this one is all of the sweet berries, raspberry, blueberry, blackberry, and strawberries, blended with buttercream, French toast, and a hint of donut glaze. This one was scrumptious, decadent, fattening. You could smell the notes and the syrup and even the little bit of the egg on the outside of the French toast before you slather it in syrup and butter. I really like Beth's French toast oil. It's a really authentic good one with just the babyest hint of cinnamon, not too crazy, but that just think about going to brunch and getting a big plate of French toast with syrup on it, but then having strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, blackberry compote jams on the top, just berries and just I could eat that forever. It's fantastic. And she adds a little bit of buttercream in it. I don't really get too much donut glaze, but of course I don't miss it because it's got so much going on here. I like All the Berry French Toast a lot. This is a definite repurchase for me. Definite. Next one is Pine Cones and Spice. Pine Cones and Spice. I think Charity really likes this blend too. This one is roasted pine cones blended with cinnamon buns and creamy frosting with a touch of pumpkin pie spice. So this one here, this one is a little bit on the lighter side for me. I have this going downstairs in my hot plate warmers as well as my tea light warmers. And I can smell a little bit of the cinnamon bun, but I found myself wanting a little bit more of the cinnamon bun. The cinnamon roll and the pumpkin pie spice are kind of similar profiles in my opinion. So I wasn't really able to differentiate what was pumpkin pie spice and what was cinnamon roll. But I wanted more from it. The creaminess was there from the buttercream or frosting. What does she call it? Creamy frosting. And you can smell the pine cones. Its integrity is left intact. I wanted a little bit more of the cinnamon and the spice to this one. Overall, this one is okay. I've had better pine cone blends, but I know this one's crazy popular. It might just be me too. I don't really have a ton of cinnamon roll blends in my collection, but I would give this one another chance. Maybe in the olive oil formula, maybe that one it would translate a little bit better as of a performer in my home. We'll see. So when this one comes back, I'll try it in that olive oil formula. This next one is one of Summer's creations. This is Blackberry Jam Cookie Bread. I got this one a few pre-orders ago whenever this one was first available. This one is blackberry jam butter cookies blended with honey cornbread and fresh baked artesian bread. I love bread. I love bread in my life, and I love bread in wax and candles and such. I will always grab a blend that has bread in it, whether it's baguette or fresh baked bread or crusty bread or fresh baked artesian bread. I don't know what that one really truly smells like, compared to baguettes and fresh baked bread. They are all just delicious and decadent and buttery and yeasty and warm smelling to me. There's nothing better in this world in terms of just simplicity of baking bread, pulling it out of the oven and putting butter on it and just eating it. It's so darn good. So I like this one. Blackberry jam butter cookies, it gives just enough of the cookie part of it to offset this blackberry jam. Sometimes blackberry jam to me can be a little weird smelling. It doesn't stink. It's just it sometimes blackberry jam butter cookie oils to me are just weird. And I know that's strange because usually most people like them. They're little cookies and they're great. I've had them before. They remind me of little thumbprint cookies. But the cornbread in here, Beth has a really good cornbread oil, and I want to say there's a couple of cornbread blends, or maybe just one, or maybe none. I don't remember. Beth has like 140 blends on her pre-order list. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it because it's a fall pre-order, and I think vendors all across the board tend to go a little nuts with fall stuff because so many of us love fall blends. Anyways, this one, you can really definitely smell that cornbread, but just right next to it, you can smell that bread, and you can smell a little bit of blackberry jam. I don't really get so much of the butter cookie now that I think about it. I remember I warmed this upstairs here in my office, and I have my Accord in my office, so I had this going, and then I warmed it on another day, same thing. And I really didn't, I just got the blackberry jam part of the blackberry jam butter cookie, but blackberry jam and cornbread and bread go so well together. I like this blend. This is a great job by Summer developing that blend. There's raspberry. Okay, this next one is dark amber and tobacco. I got this one back in January, and I always grab amber and tobacco and most anything really that has tobacco in it. I love it. I'm not sure if this is a blend or if this is a single oil. This is bay leaf, cedarwood, bergamot, tobacco leaf, dark amber, rosewood, and tonka bean. And I want to say that this oil, let me see if I can still smell it in the bag. I want to say this oil or her other, because she has another tobacco. I don't know what it's called. I don't think I have it, but one of these is in Grandpa's Study, formerly known as Richard's Study, which is a blend that was my very, very first blend that I actually fell in love with Lavender and Speckles. That and Leaves and Smoke. I love Leaves and Smoke. I know it was available last time. I didn't buy any, I don't think. I had it in my cart and I took it out because I said, I have a couple big bags of it. But that's a great blend for fall. But Grandpa's Study, I love Grandpa's Study. So I thought this bay leaf, cedarwood, bergamot, tobacco, amber, rosewood, tonka bean, this is exactly what I love in a masculine blend. In a blend where you want to maybe you're having a little bit of a darker day, or the weather's dreary or droomy outside. Droomy, I think I made that word up. Dreary, I meant to say. And you just want something that's a little bit more maybe comforting in a way, if this smelled like a grandfather or a father, if you had a grandfather that smoked a tobacco pipe. My grandpa did, and by the time I knew him, he didn't, but I knew that he did that when my mom was growing up. I've heard stories, but I just think of the old tobacco pipe and Sherlock Holmes, and just a back in the day type of thing. I know that it doesn't really translate into wax, but sometimes I want a tobacco scent when I'm feeling nostalgic, I think. So that's why I really grabbed this one. The amber does a great job in here too. Amber can complement darker blends or earthy blends in a very nice way. I love amber. It's such a great note. This next one is, let's see, couple more here before I go into my raspberry ones. And this video isn't going to be too long, but I melted 2 vendors this month, and I did get through a lot of stuff. I think, considering I was gone for 4 days of the month, and a couple of days I I did cheat and melted a few other blends from some other vendors. I had to get some zucchini bread in there, and I don't have a lot of zucchini bread blends from Lavender and Speckles. But this next one here is one of my favorite blends from Beth, hands down. This is pine cones and beach marshmallows. This one I talked about in depth yesterday in my haul video because I did buy it in the new olive oil formula in a souffle. But this one here is just perfect in my opinion. If you haven't smelled the pine cone, roasted pine cone oil, it's a very light wood, not crazy pine, not air freshener, not pine tree, Christmas tree, nothing like that. It's more of a creamy woodsiness that's similar to Palo Santo, how that's a creamy wood, but it does have that pine and that green integrity to it. What I love about this one is this is roasted pine cones, vanilla birch, and her version of Beach Nights, which is marshmallow, vanilla, sea salt, driftwood, and s'mores. So Beth's Beach Nights is unlike any vendor out there in the industry. It's very soft, it's creamy, it's addictive smelling. It can be blended with anything just about, and it will be fantastic. I like that she added a little bit of vanilla birch in there to just give a little bit extra tree without it being a pine aspect. So birch has a very distinctive scent. Vanilla birch at that is creamy birch. They all play very, very well together. The first time that this scent really grabbed me, I put this in downstairs in my open concept, in my tea light warmer and my 2 hot plates. And I came back upstairs and I was working for several hours. And when I went back downstairs, about halfway down the stairs, this beautiful aroma, excuse me, I didn't mean to hit that. This beautiful aroma hit me. And I thought, I had to think for a second, what did I put down here? Because this is an absolute gorgeous scent. Like I just couldn't stop smelling. And I realized that it was this scent right here, pine cones and beach marshmallows. But it was pine cones and beach nights back then. And I thought this is one of the most gorgeous scents I've smelled, let alone one of the best scents I've smelled from Lavender and Speckles up to that point. It was just absolutely fantastic. So I always will buy this. I have multiple big bags of this. I probably should have bought it in a loaf. But if you haven't tried this one yet, this is one of her top pine cone blends in my opinion. You can't go wrong with Beach Nights either. It's a good Beach Nights. Next, this is a big bag. This is Calm Nights at the Beach. I think this one is just called Calm Nights now. Maybe not. I got another bag of this not this past time, but the time before, and it just says Calm Nights on it, and the description is the same. So maybe she's changed her name a little bit. This bag is from January. This is a blend of Calm and Wild, which is sweet lavender and iced vanilla woods mixed with, you guessed it, beach marshmallow. So Calm and Wild, I haven't exactly just had Calm and Wild, but when I joined Beth's group last year, Calm and Wild was one of her most popular scents, as was Strawberry Musk. So I kind of got on the train a little bit later with those 2 scents. Strawberry Musk does have iced vanilla woods in it, and it's a great blend. Not a lot of vendors have it, but if you do have a vendor that has it, and you smell it, it has a little bit of masculinity to it, but there's a creaminess and a freshness to it. So it blends very, very well with any type of scent category that you can think of, in my opinion. What I get with this one to me, in my home, it isn't a crazy strong performer. It's great in a smaller space. Like, it performs beautifully in bedrooms, in bathrooms, downstairs in my open concept, because this was one of her big bags. This is 1550. These are her shapes. This one struggled in my open concept downstairs. I don't know why. It just did. But upstairs here in the bedrooms and bathrooms and in my office, it's beautiful. And it's a moderate throw. And even up here, I smelled it much more easy than I did downstairs. And, some sense you're going to have with that. It just is what it is. But I've purchased this several times. This is another popular one. So if you are a fan of iced vanilla woods and you like lavender, I didn't really get too much outright lavender. It's mostly the icy vanilla woods and the beach nights with this one. This next one is one that I just talked about the other day in my other video. This is one that I want more of already. This is Angry Sea. So Angry Sea, it's tough to describe, and I think the best way I could describe it is it's a aquatic powderiness. This is black amber, lavender, plum, sweet floral, ozone, and notes of vanilla and amber. It's creamy, it's fresh, but it's not green or floral or anything like that. It has a tenderness to it. It has a powderiness to it, but it's fresh. It's a fresh, quote unquote, fresh blend. It's not like anything I've smelled before from any vendor. I wouldn't quite call it like a rain scent. It's not like Jaws from Super Tart. It's not like that type of fresh, if you know what I mean. I mean, that one has plum in it, and it has a little bit of ozone. So some of those notes are similar, but this one here is in a class of its own. I love Angry Sea. It's great for cleaning day, for springtime, for when you want to freshen up the air. It's great for bathrooms. I really like this. I should have bought more of this scent when I did last pre-order, but it'll come back because this is a really popular one, Angry Sea. And this last one here, this one was a customer blend request, I think, but I don't remember who that was, so I do apologize for that. This one is Honey Pear Cotton Candy Zucchini Bread. I would never have thought to put honey pear with cotton candy. I love pear, love honey pear, whether this is, what is this one? It doesn't have the actual notes on here breakdown, but I don't know if this is spiced honey pears or honey pear cider or what this is, but I love both of those oils. And Beth's Cotton Candy, I did get a little sample in my recent pre-order of cotton candy, and her cotton candy is a little bit more of a creamier, slightly vanilla cotton candy to me, and I love it. It's not like that, the traditional sweet cotton candy oils. And this zucchini bread, yes please, I would buy this in a large bag or even a loaf in a heartbeat, because this one really surprised me how much I really like this blend. You could get the great balance of the pear and the cotton candy, a little bit of the creaminess, it's not too spicy, creaminess of that zucchini bread. I love this one. A+, Beth, on that. Great. So next we'll do our raspberry jam sampler, and this video is done. So this first one, once again, Charity worked with Beth on this one, and I know Charity loves her raspberry jam, as do a lot of us out there. Raspberry jam is a tough oil. It's a tough one to find a good one. You'll know what I mean if you have struggled to find a good raspberry jam blend. Beth's raspberry jam, it has just the slightest little bit of floral note to me. And it wasn't enough to deter me from melting it. It's just not similar to other vendors that have raspberry, if that makes sense. Raspberry is such a difficult oil for these perfumes and these fragrance oil vendors to make, because it's really hard to get the really true scent of a raspberry. So here we go. This one is raspberry jam and cream cheese zucchini bread. Raspberry jam, cream cheese frosting, and sweet and savory zucchini bread. I love this one. So Beth's zucchini bread is a great balance of sweet and spicy. It's creamy, spicy, sweet, all those things. So her cream cheese frosting is just the same, that nice, rich, heavy creaminess, and the raspberry jam is there for just a little bit of brightness. I really couldn't tell what berry it was, but I just knew it was a sweetness, because that cream cheese frosting is so rich and decadent, and that zucchini bread was in there. I really liked this scent. I don't remember if she's offering some of these raspberry jam blends available separate outside of the sampler. I don't remember. I think there's a couple. Maybe those are Palo Santo blends that I'm thinking of, but she's got a ton of blends on her list. So pardon me if I don't remember everything that's on the list. I don't think any of us do, except Beth, and maybe she even has to refresh herself from time to time. This one, I would buy that one again. That's a good one. And these little samplers, the next time, this next pre-order on the 13th, she's offering 9 whopping 9 samplers. 2 of them are mini samplers. I think it's a mini pumpkin sampler and a mini fall fruit sampler. All of her samplers are going to be poured in the olive oil formula, whereas previous to this next pre-order, everything was in these little bags with 3 of her harder wax shapes in them. So that's these little bags that you're seeing here. But her olive oil formula, if you've yet to try it, it's fantastic. I haven't chopped anything up from the order I got the other day, but I did have a little sample cup of it in the, I can't remember the actual fragrance name from Sol de Janeiro, but it's the macadamia one that's number 71. I don't remember that fragrance name, but it chops like a dream. It throws very well. It holds its fragrance very well. I do love the olive oil formula. Okay, next is raspberry jam and pink marshmallow pie. So this one is raspberry jam and just a hint of pink sugar, marshmallows, and pie crust. So let me talk about pie crust for a minute, because Miss Beth has somehow located the best, most decadent, creamy, fattening, authentic pie crust oil that's out there, in my opinion. It is so good. So good, in fact, I bought a whole loaf of it when it was offered last pre-order. It was that darn good. So the pink sugar and the marshmallow is just ultra creamy and sweetness. This one had a heavier raspberry jam note to it, but then you do have that pie crust. It's just like a beautiful raspberry pie. There is a restaurant out here. It's a chain that's similar to Panera Bread. We don't have Paneras out here. There's one at the airport, but whoop-de-doo. This is a place similar to Panera Bread, and they know they're known for their pies, especially in the fall and the winter time, when people are having holiday parties and such. There is a pie called their raspberry cream cheese pie, and I'm sure that there's other varieties of it throughout the country, but I had never had experience with raspberry cream cheese pie until I had it here. So what this one really reminded me of is, yes, there's not pink sugar and marshmallow and raspberry cream cheese pie, but you have that richness of that crust and a little bit of cream cheese for, I don't even want to say a sour note, but just a little bit of a richness to it. I mean, there was cream cheese frosting in this, but cream cheese on its own can be a little bit heavier and not necessarily have that sugary component or that powdered sugar, whatever this cream cheese frosting is. The raspberry jam and the pink sugar, it just sweetened it up a little bit. I liked this one because it reminded me of just raspberry pie. And the marshmallow is just there for creaminess. So this one, would I buy this again? Yes, because I really like the pie crust. It's so, so, so good. So good. This next one was one of my favorites. This is raspberry and lemon bar. Raspberry lemonade, raspberry lemon squares. Raspberry and lemon go together beautifully. This is raspberry jam, fresh lemon, and white cake make for a sweet and tangy cake treat. So, white cake, as I talked about the other day, white cake isn't my favorite cake oil because it's kind of weak to me. However, I have found out recently that when you blend it with other bakery things or fruit, it wakens up that cake. I know it might sound crazy, but that's the revelation I had recently. I love lemon and raspberry together. This was one of my favorite ones, like I said. This really, truly smells like an authentic raspberry lemon bar. I didn't get too much of a cakiness from it. It was just that nice tart lemon and that creamy fresh raspberry. I really liked that one. Next is raspberry jam and beach marshmallow cookies. So once again, that's her raspberry jam, beach marshmallow cookies, sugar cookie royale, and boardwalk marshmallow clouds. So I absolutely love I love this one because I'm already in love with beach marshmallow cookies. And then just add a dollop of raspberry jam on top of it. It's so good because the sweetness of the jam counteracts with a little bit of, I don't want to say that her beach marshmallows isn't sweet because it is, but it's not really a bakery sweetness. But there is sugar cookie royale in here, and there is boardwalk marshmallow clouds. This was just a beautiful decadent experience. I would say that this one, some of these raspberries, like this next one I'm going to talk about, it can pull a little bit of a perfuminess, but it's just all with what it's blended with. And I have to say that for transparency, just because raspberry jam, it's so hard to find one that we like. And I know the first question out of a lot of people is it floral? Is it perfumey? Sometimes in a couple of these, it was for me. But so far, the ones I've talked about haven't been like that. But I really, really, really like this one. So this next one, raspberry jam and vanilla buttercream cake. This one was a little perfumey to me, probably because buttercream to my nose is already a little bit fruity. Not as in, oh, it's an apple or an orange or a banana or what. It just has a little bit of a fruity essence to it. It's sweet. And I don't know if that's my nose, but I've seen other people say that before. I didn't get too much cake in this. It wasn't like perfume that you think about perfume. It just had a very, very sweet, fruity vibe to it. This one was probably one of my least favorite ones of the sampler. And I don't like saying that because I know that it takes a lot to blend, and it takes a lot to, what's good on paper might not really translate in reality. But this one wasn't my favorite. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. I hate saying that, but just want to be true. This next one here is raspberry jam, pretzel, and powdered donuts. I loved this one. Beth has a really good pretzel oil. This is raspberry jam blended with salty pretzels and fresh donuts with powdered sugar. So her pretzel blends, if you've ever had a chance to try them, or if you have already, you know what I'm talking about. She has the perfect balance of salty and yeasty pretzel. It's yummy and scrumptious, and I'm thinking about the works right now, which is one of her has caramel in it and whipped cream and pretzel and a bunch of other stuff. That's such a good pretzel blend. Anyways, you can really smell the powdered donuts in this one to me. And it's just like a jelly-filled powdered donut without a little bit of the greasy donut. You know how you can have a filled donut that's a jelly-filled donut, then you can have a powdered donut that doesn't have jelly in it, but you can kind of dip it in jelly, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have that doughy aspect to it. That's what I get with this. I love this, and I like the addition of the pretzel. And I know Charity likes pretzel too, so that probably was her idea to put this one in with this. I love this. I would buy that one again. Two more here. This next one is raspberry jam and raspberry custard with French toast. I think this one was available in the pre-order last time. I really like this raspberry custard. It's kind of like it's like raspberry custard. I know, duh. But it's like if you have a really rich vanilla custard or vanilla pudding and you put a little bit of raspberry through that and just blend that together, and you have that rich, creamy raspberry. That's what this is. The French toast I talked about earlier in this video. It's great with that raspberry on top. I really like this one. And finally, this one is not a bakery. This is raspberry jam and beachy coconut. This one is raspberry jam, boom boom, and pink coconut. I'm not exactly sure what's in pink coconut, but I know that I absolutely love this blend. I am a fan of boom boom. Boom Boom and raspberry are beautiful together, but this coconut just made this a little bit of a tropical experience. Coconut and raspberry, you wouldn't think, but it does work. And Boom Boom is just there with its beautiful caramel and pistachio deliciousness and sultriness that a lot of us have come to love. And this one is another one of my favorites. So that was what I got through for June for Lavender and Speckles. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully this helps you for next time when these blends become available. And yeah, good luck with the pre-order on Saturday the 13th. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.